So now that we have gone over a review of graphing lines and the equations of lines, we're now going to go into some of the new material for this year. So the first thing I want you to do is to graph the following equations on the graph. So both of these are already in slope-intercept form. So for the first one, my slope is 2, and my y-intercept is at -4. So I start at -4, and I'm jumping up 2 each time. To create my first line. My second one, so I'm going to call this y is equal to 2x minus 4. I'm going to use a different color for my other line. Again, my slope is 2. My y-intercept in this case is 3. So I start at 3. I'm going up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And now I connect to form my lines. Y is equal to 2x plus 3. So what you should notice looking at these two lines is that these two lines are going to be parallel lines. Parallel lines have the same slope. In both of these cases, my slope was 2. These lines will therefore never intersect because they're going the same pattern over and over and over again. And since they had a different starting point, they're never going to eventually collide. Now we're going to do something very similar. So again, I'm going to start by graphing my lines. Slope is 2, intercept is -4. Graph my first line. Y is equal to 2x minus 4. Now for my second one, my slope is -1 over 2. My y-intercept is 3. So now, going down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2. And I am connecting. And it might be a little bit hard to tell, but these lines are actually going to be perpendicular. So perpendicular lines form a right angle. So if we look here, these two lines, I can say that these two angles are going to be right angles because the slopes are the negative reciprocals. So a reciprocal is when you flip it, right? So for example, the reciprocal, for example, of 2 would be 1/2, and then we negate it. When they have the slopes are negative reciprocals, then the lines are going to be perpendicular. So if I ask you to find the slope of a line parallel to the line whose equation is x plus 2y equals 8, you just need to know what the original slope is, and that is going to be your answer. So here, the first thing I need to do is put it in slope-intercept form. So I subtracted the x, divide by 2, and so my slope here is -1/2, so I would need a slope of -1/2 in order to have a parallel line. Again, if it's parallel, the slope has to be the same. So the first thing you want to do is solve for the slope by putting it in y-intercept form. So I move the 3x over, and now I'm dividing both sides by -6. So I have 1/2 x minus 27. So I need a slope of 1/2 in order to get a parallel line. You would continue with the same thing for number 3, but let's go to number 4 because this is slightly different. Perpendicular, so that is a negative reciprocal. So you have to flip your original slope and then negate it. So first thing I want to do is put this in slope-intercept form. So 3y is equal to negative 6x minus 45. Divide by 3. So I get negative 2x minus 15. So my original slope was negative 2. So my slope that is perpendicular is going to be the flip. And the opposite of negative 2 is of a negative is a positive. So my perpendicular slope will be 1/2. Okay, and the rest are pretty much the same. You can check the QR code to check your answers. I'm going to move on to the homework. So what is the equation of a line passing through 2, negative 1, and parallel to the line represented by the equation y equals 2x plus 1? Well, if I'm looking for parallel, that means that I have to have the same slope. So I can immediately start to eliminate some answer choices. Definitely not going to be 1 or 2. So I have to figure out which one of these goes through the point 2, negative 1. So here your x value is 2, your y value is negative 1, right? So here, if I have y equals 2x minus 5, and I'm saying that my y value has to be negative 1, and your x value would have to be 2, you're getting negative 1 equals 4 minus 5. Negative 1 is equal to negative 1. So that is true. So that is going to be your answer. Same thing for the next one. So again, parallel, same slope. Eliminate everything that does not have the same slope. And now you can also do it the other way where you're going to solve. So you have x and y. So we replace y with 3, m with 3 over 2, x with negative 2, and b with b. So now I'm solving, and we should get that b is equal to 6. So again, same thing, eliminate anything that does not have the same slope. So we want a slope of 3/2, and we have x and y. So 2 is equal to 3/2 times 1 plus b. So we're doing 2 minus 2. So we're doing 2 minus 3/2, which gives us 1/2 on this side. So b is equal to 1/2. So this is going to be the equation of that line. So again, parallel to this equation. So we're looking at 1/2. So anything that does not have a slope of 1/2 is eliminated.
Please excuse this interruption. I just wanted to make an announcement to let you know that there is no lockdown at John Glenn High School. There was a glitch in the system and all classes are currently back in session. So again, there is no lockdown at John Glenn High School. Thank you.
So yes, I am recording this during midterm week and there was a false alarm lockdown apparently. So now we're figuring out what the b value would be. So we have x and y. So 2 is equal to 1/2 times negative 2 plus b. 2 is equal to negative 1 plus b. B must be equal to 3. So I'm circling what's important. So parallel tells me that I need the same slope, so I want a slope of 2/3. So this one is a little bit different because if you look, your options are not in slope-intercept form. So you're going to have to solve for y, right? So here, 2y plus 3x, you end up with 2y equals negative 3x plus 11. So right away, my slope is going to be negative. So if I have a negative slope, I know that that is not going to be one of my answer choices. So I'm left with either 3 or 4. So both of these have the correct slope. So I'm checking to see which one goes through the point 4, 5. So what we could do is we could do what we were doing before and solve for b, or we could just plug in to the equations that are given since it is a multiple choice question. So 3 times 5 minus 2 times 4. So that is 15 minus 8, which is 7. And that is going to be equal to number 4. So now we're flip-flopped again. So we want parallel, so we want the same slope, but our equation is given to us in non-slope intercept form, so we have to do some rearranging. So our final slope intercept will be y equals 2x minus 4. So I want something with a slope of 2 that goes through negative 2, 1. So I have 1 equals 2 times negative 2 plus b. So that's going to be negative 4. We add, b will be positive 5. So again, we are first going to put this in slope-intercept. So we want a slope of negative 5 because we're doing parallel. And we're given x and y, so 3 is equal to negative 5 times 5 plus b. So that's negative 25. When we add it, we're going to get 28. So which line is parallel to the line whose equation is 4x plus 3y equals 7 and also passes through the point negative 5, 2? So we're starting with 4x plus 3y. So they're all in the same form, so you know that the x and the y part have to be the same. So we're down to 1 and 2. And now I'm going to plug in to check 4 times negative 5 plus 3 times 2. So that's negative 20 plus 6, which is negative 14, which is number 2. So that's the important thing to know. Slope of parallel lines is a very important concept that pops up a lot. Again, if you need more practice, you can scan the QR code to check your work and make sure that you've gone through the Regents questions.